Apple came out with an announcement last night that says, "Hey, we're the good guys here in respect to this class action lawsuit." What's going on, Daniel?
Yeah, this is a really interesting one, and I really enjoyed your your tweet. You came out, broke it first. A couple people pinned it into my inbox right away, and so over the last several months, you and I both had a lot of opportunities. I've made my network circuit, CNBC, Yahoo Finance, Market Watch, talking about regulatory, right? There was these new bills that got passed, and we're looking at the scrutiny, we're looking at the future. We're saying, what antitrust legislation and what antitrust activities out there really have a shot of creating meaningful change? And so this is interesting because it was self-inflicted by Apple, essentially coming out and saying, we're going to settle. We are going to go ahead and we are going to settle a class action lawsuit with the developers. This has really been the charge has really been led by the Spotify and Epic Games. Those are the two kind of most notable that have taken place over the past several months, where the developers are saying there is no option for us. Apple controls over 50% of the US smartphone market and a significant chunk of the world. And for a developer like Spotify and Epic Games that wants to give their users a chance to pay directly to them to use the service on a device without having to go through the App Store was impossible. It didn't exist. There was no way around it. So Android has a way around it. It's not a very good way around it, but you can do it. And that was the thing when I've been basically talking, Pat, to anyone that would listen. I was saying that this is the one that's going to happen. Apple, if they do not change, first of all, they continue to raise their rates, which was very monopolistic, knowing they had so much power. Remember, they went from 15 to 30%. And then on top of it, as Android and others gave some option, Microsoft probably leading the charge of being most open, yet not having necessarily the mobile OS in the same capacity. Apple just doubled down. They literally doubled down. They doubled their price, and they said, no, we're not changing. Our platform is awesome. You want to use it, you pay the toll. And that's the thing. You can't have a toll. In the anti-competitive space, you can't toll people for using your platform. Although that's what's happening every day. And that's what regulators want to know. Can we fix this? Can we change this? And I think the change is this. Platforms are largely awesome. I don't care if you're talking about Facebook, Apple, Amazon. They offer a ton of value. People's experiences are better because of them. But you can't give no option. You give no option. Now you are basically throwing out the checkered flag for regulators to come after you. Apple said, you know what? We're going to pay now and hopefully get out of the way. Pat, you and I both love the Wolf of Wall Street. Remember that inflection point where he could have taken the charge when the SEC gave him the chance to walk away and he didn't walk away? Apple's walking away, and I think they're making a good decision here that'll probably slow down major antitrust against their App Store activities, although this may or may not be the end, but I think it's a gesture with the intent of slowing down enforcement.
Yeah, I'm going to just say right now, this is not the end, and this will have very little impact with Epic versus Apple and the global antitrust scrutiny of Apple. Essentially, what Apple agreed to do was allow ISVs that are on the platform to email their customers and also let them know that there's another way to pay for it. By the way, that doesn't include an alternative payment on the platform itself.
Nope.
Okay. And this was a group of small ISVs in this class action lawsuit, and this gesture, and I don't always agree with what the folks over at The Verge say, but I just cracked up with some of their comments. We're definitely on the same page on this. Any of the press that gets sucked into, by the way, awesome PR. I mean, Apple is incredible in PR. Really needs to really do the double click on what this really means and what it doesn't. I believe they're going to be forced to accept alternative payment methods in the app itself, in the Apple platform. So with that, Daniel, what else? Any other thoughts?
I just wanted to say you made a great point. I'm looking at the macro here. The fact is this is, and I think hopefully when I submitted this about being a gesture, what I guess I'm saying about the gesture here is that Apple is showing a willingness to acquiesce, and I'm wondering if they're hoping that regulators will slow their roll. That's all I guess I'm getting at, is saying, hey, slow your roll, because unquestionably the most monopolistic behavior I could identify out of all the platform companies was Apple's App Store. It just was. There's just nothing else that was more clear. There was other minutia about algorithms and ways that products are prioritized on different platforms using AI and search. But Apple was just like, they were just like leaving their stuff. They were leaving their laundry in the road, and and they were like, come after us. So this just, to me, was a gesture. I just don't know how much it's going to work, but I feel like you said their PR so good, so much feel good about this. Like, look at these nice guys doing these great things for these little companies now. And I don't know. It's going to be a
Daniel, I
fascinating
got to tell you, I think they knew they were going to lose this class action lawsuit, and so they just gave up.
It's not charity, dude.
They're smart. I mean, look what they did with Qualcomm, right? The second day of what's called the Qualcomm ODM trial in San Diego, they saw what they were up against and they quit, and they settled and signed a multi-year licensing agreement with Qualcomm.